So today I'm bringing guys a brand new sports cards video. In today's video, I'm going to be talking about some cards that are really going down right now and what to do if you are holding some of these cards. Now, before we get into that, I did want to say real quick, we are giving away a Jamal Murray Prism PSA 10 for this week's giveaway. It's around a $100 card. If you guys would like to enter, all you have to do is subscribe, like this video, comment the word done, and we will be announcing the winner on my private Instagram at It's Kanala Huja. So definitely give me a follow to stay tuned with the giveaway winners. Our membership program has been buying a lot of Jamal Murray cards for the last 6 months to 1 year, and a lot of them are up more than 50%. So real quick, if you guys do want to join in on the membership program, the link will be down below at sportscardsinvest.com. But without further ado, we are going to hop right into this video. So as you guys can see on the top rising and top falling card chart, we've got a handful of basketball cards that are really tanking right now. Of course, on the flip side, we do have a lot that are going up, but some of these 30 days have been very tough for some investors. For example, Joel Embiid's market, after winning MVP, his market has gone down 15% over the last 30 days. I know a lot of people are very confused about this because they thought that him winning the MVP would have a stronger reaction on his market. Now, if you look at a lot of his cards, they've taken a pretty big hit. They had an initial bump after he was announced MVP, but after they did lose in the playoffs, his cards fell back down. I do believe heading into next season, Joel Embiid is going to be one of the hottest players on the market just because he will be the league's MVP heading into next season. So I think that this could be a good time to buy the dip and wait off for next season to see his prices hopefully bounce back and be very strong heading into next season. Now, without further ado, we're going to hop right into the next player that we wanted to cover, and that is going to be Ja Morant. Of course, we all know Ja Morant is likely going to be suspended for a good chunk of next season, and a lot of investors who are holding his cards right now are panicking a little bit and selling for extremely low values. In the last 90 days, his card market is down close to 30%, which is an incredibly big drop off. This card right here was around a $100 card just a couple months ago. It is now down to, sales in the low 30s. Now, we're seeing a lot of his cards, especially his high-end market, have a even bigger drop off, and that is because investors are no longer willing to invest hundreds of thousands or tens of thousands of dollars into someone with so much uncertainty. If we want to look at this card, in April of 2022 was a $312,000 card. In April of 2023, it's a $50,000 card. And keep in mind, that was before his second incident. So right now, this card is currently valued at $28,000, which is more than a 90% drop off, which is incredibly large, especially, and a lot of investors are not willing to take these losses, and so a lot of them are holding on. What I will say is that you're going to be taking a big risk holding into Ja Morant's market, because I think it's going to take years on years for his reputation to be to the point where investors feel comfortable investing 5 figures into some of his cards. I know just the amount of risk there is if these incidents continue to occur. His future is very uncertain, and I think a lot of investors are very fearful in Ja Morant's market. Now, I did want to go over a little bit of other news, which is some of these cards that are really increasing in value. For example, Jamal Murray, Jokic, Bam Adebayo, Jimmy Butler. What to do with them? Now, of course, half of these players on this list, out of these 4, are going to win a championship, which could help them sustain their market a little bit more. But in general, after this finals hype, you're likely going to see a big decline in these 4 players' markets. I think Jamal Murray and Jokic, if they do win it, will have a little bit more of a boost just because they are younger and they have more ahead of them, so there's more excitement for investors. Whereas if Jimmy Butler loses in the playoffs, I think his market's going to really crash just because of how much it's gone up, and this may be Jimmy Butler's one of his last times competing for a championship, just because his age is, I believe he's around 33 years old compared to Jokic and Murray, which are just beginning on their journey in the NBA, winning, and trying to make the finals. So I think there's a little bit more upside in the Nuggets players than, in Jimmy Butler's market specifically. Now, going back to the players that are falling, we do see across the board players who are getting eliminated from the playoffs have really fallen in price, especially when they had high expectations. Devin Booker and Chris Paul and Kevin Durant had incredibly high expectations heading into the season, or heading into the postseason, and when they did not perform up to expectations, or even if, for example, Devin Booker had a great playoffs, but the Suns did not perform to expectations, we're seeing their card markets really get hit. In a month, his card market, for most of his cards, at least the high-end cards, has gone down nearly 50%. This card right here was over 12,000, and now it's under 7,000 in a matter of a month. So you definitely got to be very careful when investing in playoff players, and if they do get knocked out, and they have high expectations, those are the types of decreases you should be expecting to see. Now, you do see some younger players on this list, such as Jalen Green and Anthony Edwards, and I believe part of this is when the new Prism releases, and when these new products release for the new stars, now all of a sudden the older, couple years back Prism players, or just young stars, they start to see a little bit of decline in demand because a lot of this money is going towards newer players, guys like Chet, whose, products are just starting to release. And I think a lot of the money could be shifting away from guys like Anthony Edwards and LaMelo Ball and towards this new draft class, or this, I hate to call it draft class because in sports cards, it's always behind 1 year. So we're just starting to see Chet Holmgren cards come out, and that whole draft class, products releasing. And I think that's why you're starting to see guys like Jalen Green, and Anthony Edwards start to decline in price. Even guys like Scotty Barnes. You're going to see less demand on these guys and more demand on the new guys. So that's definitely something to keep in mind if you are holding guys from more recent draft classes who haven't really taken that next step in their game yet. I do see some opportunity right now in Anthony Edwards. I think his market's overreacted a little bit. I think if you can snag some deals for around 50% of the price of when he was in the playoffs, you could be setting yourself up pretty good if he does take another jump in his game next season. He is personally a young player who I believe in. But, at the end of the day, it's all a risk. You see that the market reacts quite heavily to a lot of players when they do not meet expectations or when bad news comes out about them. I do think Jaylen Brown could be another guy on this list that I personally am quite excited about if I can get into some of his cards for a great price, just because his prices are extremely low. And what I love the most about Jaylen Brown's cards is that the population on his cards are extremely low, because 2016 is before they started to overproduce cards. So you can get some of his most important cards for just around $3,400, and in my opinion, he's one of the best wings in the NBA. So I do see good opportunity in guys like Jaylen Brown, especially if you can wait a little bit and start to see these prices come down a little bit more. I think next season this card can be back to a $6,000-$7,000 card. So those are the opportunities I'm really looking at right now. But overall, the basketball market's very healthy. There's plenty of cards going up, plenty of cards going down. In fact, some of the cards going up are going up a little bit more steep than the declines have been, which is a good sign. Guys like Jamal Murray have gone up close to 45%, and our investment program has literally been investing in these four because their prices were so undervalued over the last 6 to 12 months. And so I definitely see a lot of opportunity in some of these guys who have gone down. I would definitely suggest if you're holding a card after it's gone up 45%, I would try to sell off. It could go up another 10%, it could go up another 20%, but it could also come back down that 45%. So I would definitely recommend selling off. Other than that, I hope you guys did enjoy this video, and I'm out. Peace.